Very good evening to all of you. Thanks for joining us here on Mirror Now. On our top story today, a day after Karnataka mutt seer Dingaleshwar Swamiji accused the Karnataka government of collecting 30% commission for giving grants to mutts, Karnataka Education Minister B.C. Nagesh has now said that the seers should come up with some evidence, as according to him, allegation without proof only causes anarchy. He also pointed out that the seers had gone ahead with their complaint to the media instead of approaching courts, and that there might be a political design behind this. Remember, earlier, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai had said that they will take the allegation seriously made by the seer. Another Karnataka minister now says that he could have protested instead of paying up to the concerned person as claimed by the seer. The Congress, of course, has wasted no time in pouncing on the Karnataka government over this issue, with Congress General Secretary taking to Twitter to call it the nauseating stench of corruption. Also targeting the Karnataka Minister B.C. Patil for what he believes to be an insult to the seer. Congress questions why, instead of ordering an inquiry by the Chief Justice of India, the Bommai government is asking for proof. We will listen to all the important voices from both the sides and we'll discuss this issue threadbare. Let me introduce, joining us here on the program, T.S. Chandrasekhar, spokesperson for the BJP, Lavanya Balal, spokesperson for the Congress, Anil Kumar Tadkal, Veerashaiva Lingayat leader. Very good evening. Thanks for joining us here on Mirror Now. First, let's listen in, like I said, to both the sides. Here are the important voices from both the BJP and the Congress speaking on this matter.
Many of the seers today, one of them who's come forward and spoken up saying that the government is collecting, 30% grants for allocating funds. Several of these mutts today also run educational institutions as well. So in your tenure, sir, as, both an education minister as well as being an active person, in the party, what do you react to these claims that are being made by the seer?
Two things I wanted to say. First, Honorable CM himself has clarified this, and he has said that seers to get some proof, so I will go in detail. Second, I believe that any allegation should have proof. Vague such statement doesn't hold good, and it's not good also for the society to create anarchy in the society. If they have really any proof, if government isn't here, there is High Court here. They can put PL and take their proofs and get this government. Definitely, courts will act on that. They have not done that. They want have a political advantage, or they want to come before the TVs, media. So people know where they get when say such news, they will be taken into consideration.
ಕೊಡೋ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಸಮಾಜಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾದರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈಗ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನವ್ರ ಥರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಥರ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಕ್ಷ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ SR ಪಾಟೀಲ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ, ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಭಕ್ತರನ್ನು ಮೆಚ್ಚಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದಂಥ ಮಾತು. ಅವ್ರು ಹಂಗೆ ಈ ಊಸುರುವಳ್ಳಿ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಬಣ್ಣ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ತದೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು.
Charge that 40% is being asked from the contractors is an old charge. It's not a new charge. And also the charge of Santosh Patil is about 2 months old. All of these people have sought to inform the Prime Minister, right? The Contractors Association has written 1 year ago. Now, problem is that Honorable Prime Minister hasn't responded so far. Unlikely to respond because, as you know, Prime Minister only speaks during election time.
My colleague Neha Hebbale bringing us all those reports. Neha, you have spoken to the leaders from both the sides. What is the sense that you are getting? Because, the fact is that now these corruption allegations are coming from multiple quarters. Even beyond the contractors and the mutts, I believe there are other people also now coming up. We will play all that up for our viewers, but over to you to tell us more details.
Well, that's absolutely right, Afrida. What, began with one allegation from one contractor, and, unfortunately, we saw him really committing, dying by suicide over there, has today snowballed into a massive controversy in the state of Karnataka, with the opposition tearing into the government, over every small allegation that's coming to light over here, or every big allegation also for that matter. It's important. Let's tell you that, while we are talking about this whole issue itself, we're seeing a prominent Lingayat seer over here from the state of Karnataka, the Dingaleshwar Swamiji over here, who's come forward and made these claims and said that today it's a known fact. Mind you, those were his words. He's not saying that it's happened with his mutt, but he is saying that, it's a known fact today that the government is collecting a 30% commission for allocating funds to these mutts. So, of course, what remains to be seen right now is the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Dingaleshwar Bommai, has said that if at all these seers who are making these claims do have some evidence, they should in fact, come forth with the proof and submit it to the government, or in fact, to those agencies, of course, who would be probing it eventually, or even to the court for that matter. And that is when the government would be able to initiate some action. Now, setting the seers issue aside for a minute, Afrida, we did, see the whole contractors issue for that matter, with the minister having to resign over there as well. Now, there was enough and more evidence, at least at the time, to start that probe, which was not done. So, having said that, we'll have to wait and see right now. The Karnataka Chief Minister, too, of course, has said that, they would look into this if at all there's any proof that's submitted right now. But at the same time, it's important to mention also over here that the Congress party in Karnataka, in fact, has started terming this government as the corruption government or the scam government. And unfortunately, even as all matters in Karnataka are turning political in the election year, it is the people's issues that has really taken a backseat.
Yes, Neha, thank you so much for joining us with the important points on the subject. And that, in fact, gives us a few important issues that we need to flag off here. Mr. Chandrasekhar, if I can come to you first. The Chief Minister, Dingaleshwar Bommai, said we will take it seriously. He has not outrightly denied what the seer said could be wrong. In fact, in a way, he's accepted the possibility of such a thing, which is why he said we'll take it very seriously. In the case of the contractors issue, you heard my colleague say that despite the, of course, it was media attention that caused the minister to step down, but nothing in terms of a concrete probe there has been any movement in. Now, again, let me just say for the sake of our viewers as well, that here somebody has decided to blow off the lid. This was waiting to happen, isn't it? Mr. Surjewala calls it the stench, which is nauseating. How do you respond?
Good evening, madam, and thanks for having me. And also good evening for my co-panelists. See, first of all, the statement what has been given by the Swamiji, it's his personal statement, and which doesn't have any evidence. So that's why the Karnataka Chief Minister Bommai sir has clearly said that you give us the evidence, you give us the proof, and who has done it, and who are the people who are involved in it, if he is alleging like that. So we are going to prosecute the people, and the law of the land is going to take. That is number one. Number two
so are you saying now the seer and the mutt will have to do the investigation and the probe and come out with details? Isn't that the government's job to initiate a probe and find out who are the people taking this commission?
See, it has become a very big habit in the state of Karnataka to allege the BJP as a political party with 60% commission, 40% commission, 30% commission. It's all allegations without proof. So without any tender, they're doing the work. Without any proof, they're telling 30%. See, what the issue was raised by the Swamiji was the North Karnataka region has been socially, economically and politically deprived of its right. So he's asking that it has to be seen, and what corruption is saying, it is in Karnataka. Our Chief Minister has categorically said, we are going to investigate. See, one thing is, the whole North Karnataka region was part of the Nizam territory earlier. So there was a lot of feudalism, and the socio-economic development was neglected by the Congress party. And now things are getting moved, and we are very sure and we are very clear that BJP as a political party, we don't tolerate terrorism. We don't tolerate any type of corruption. We are zero tolerance to corruption. So in
Then
that way,
yes, but you know, right before this, you had a minister having to resign with very serious charges against
it
him,
is not proved,
with a
it is only
contractor
alleged.
leaving a note behind before his death. So while you say that we are not a party of corrupt people, in cases, instances right here before us is going against you at this point. I'll have Ms. Lavanya Balal respond. Lavanya Balal, BJP is saying two things: give us the proof and we'll act on it, and also at the same time hinting at political influence. What is your response?
Good evening, Afrida. This is shocking and appalling that they would insult a seer, a very senior seer of Lingayat community with these statements of theirs. Both the minister Suresh and BC Patil have categorically said that he is lying and he should provide the proof. Now, my question is, since when have these people who have been taking bribes have started issuing receipts for the bribes they have been receiving? And this is not the first case of, commission that scam that has come out in Karnataka. First, from almost 1 year, it was the contractors, and then came the BBMP contractors who said they are demanding 50% commission. Then came the fodder commission, where they are saying 30% is what they're demanding for the fodder that is supplied to the government goshalas. Now, the seer is telling 30% of, commission was received from them for getting the government grant. Also, we have to see the Home Minister's office is also under a lot of is under the cloud right now because of the scam that has happened with the recruitment of inspectors. Apparently,
Yes, we will come to that, Lavanya. We'll come to that. That's another story we are tracking today.
Yeah, 1 second. So when they say we have to, the person who's been talking about, the whistleblower has to provide proof. It is like, hey, I have been victimized, so the victim has to provide the proof. Isn't it the government's duty to ensure that the scam doesn't happen in the first place? And why is it provided? Why is the case handed over to the CID and not the CJI? Thank you.
Yes. No, I want to bring in Anil Kumar Tadkal in this. I take your points here. Mr. Tadkal, if I may bring to your notice that in July 2021, last year, when Lingayat strongman B.S. Yediyurappa was exiting as the chief minister of the state, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dingaleshwar Swami led a delegation of 24 sadhus from across the state to extend support to him. At that time, he had warned of a BJP fallout if Yediyurappa was removed. So today, when the same leader comes out against the Bommai government, it's quite natural that there'll be murmurs of whether this is being orchestrated.
See, you're absolutely right. It is not for the first time that Sri has come out and he has raised his voice against the corruption. He was raising his voice against every government which has done it. Point number one. Point number two, as you rightly noticed, as soon as Yediyurappa actually took out of the office, he was the first person to raise his voice. At that time, where were these ministers who are quoting currently the Swamiji is lying, or the Swamiji has to get the proof, or he's just doing an allegation? At that time, they had actually need desperately of this Shri's blessings. Currently, they feel they are uncomfortable with his statements and they are making that he is lying. What does this actually sending a message to? And as a Congress spokesperson, as well as you have noticed one point, how can
Okay, now what I'm going to do, Mr. Tadkal, I'm interrupting you here. We are joined by Swami Dingaleshwar live at the moment. Swami ji, good evening. आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि इस वक्त जिस तरह का एक विवाद छिड़ गया है कर्नाटका में इस पूरे मुद्दे को लेके, सबसे पहले आपके स्टेटमेंट को लेके भी सवाल उठाया जा रहा है कि एक तो आप सबूत दीजिए, दूसरा ये कहा जा रहा है कि उस वक्त इंस्टेड ऑफ पेइंग द कमीशन क्यों आपने मना नहीं किया और रिपोर्ट नहीं किया इस चीज को। तो ये दो सवाल बीजेपी के मंत्री उठा रहे हैं आपके खिलाफ।
मैंने सबको किया, मैंने क्या बताया, अभी भी तैयार हूं मैं उत्तर कर्नाटक के बारे में बताया, परसेंटेज के बारे में बताया, मैं प्रूव करूंगा ना।
नहीं, लेकिन अभी आपसे मांगा जा रहा है कि आप बताएं, फुल डिस्क्लोजर जिसे कहते हैं, पूरा आप बताएं, पूरी कहानी बताएं, किसने आपसे कमीशन लिया, कब लिया, आपने परसेंटेज कोट किया है लेकिन किसी का नाम नहीं लिया है। जी
टूरिज्म डिपार्टमेंट से 75 lakhs ग्रांट आया था। वो लैंड आर्मी को काम दिया। वो लैंड आर्मी इंजीनियर्स ने 25 lakhs के लिए डिमांड रखे, 25 lakhs के लिए।
तो आपको ग्रांट देने के बदले उतना अमाउंट का, उतने परसेंटेज का उनको कमीशन लेना, ये कहना चाह रहे हैं। और ये कौन से साल में कब हुआ ये हादसा कब का है?
3 साल पहले ग्रांट आया था। अभी तक पैसे नहीं दिए पूरे। 25 और 27 lakhs दिए, बाकी पैसा कहाँ है, क्यों नहीं दे रहे हैं?
और कमीशन उनको, आपकी तरफ से कमीशन का पेमेंट हो गया था?
नहीं ऐसा नहीं, वो कट करके देते हैं, कट करके देते वो।
तो ये टूरिज्म डिपार्टमेंट में आपने
केवल मेरा काम का बात नहीं है, काम की बात नहीं है। ये पूरे स्टेट में, पूरे कंट्री में भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है। ये केवल बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट में नहीं है, एनी गवर्नमेंट में भ्रष्टाचार बहुत है। कर्नाटक में, देश में ये बंद करना चाहिए, भ्रष्टाचार को हटाना चाहिए। उत्तर कर्नाटक और दक्षिण कर्नाटक 2 प्रकार है। एक स्टेट में उत्तर कर्नाटक और दक्षिण कर्नाटक। दक्षिण कर्नाटक में काम अलग रहता है, उत्तर कर्नाटक में काम अलग रहता है। उत्तर कर्नाटक में रास्ता ठीक नहीं, बस ठीक नहीं, हॉस्पिटल ठीक नहीं, बहुत निरुद्योग है। बहुत एम्प्लॉय बेंगलुरु में काम करने के लिए जाते हैं उत्तर कर्नाटक से। यहाँ पे
वो तो मुद्दे ठीक है, लेकिन ये कमीशन का जो मुद्दा है वो तो काफी गंभीर एक आप चार्ज लगा रहे हैं सरकार के ऊपर, जिसको लेके मुख्यमंत्री तक रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं। आपके स्टेटमेंट पे ये भी कहा जा रहा है कि आपको सीरियसली ले रहे हैं और इन्वेस्टिगेट करेंगे। लेकिन मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी, माना जाता है कि आप येदियुरप्पा जी के बहुत बड़े सपोर्टर हैं, उनके लिए आपने पहले रैली भी निकाले, तो इसका एक अलग मतलब भी निकाला जा रहा है।
येदियुरप्पा जी को सपोर्ट नहीं दिया, येदियुरप्पा जी को बहुत अन्याय हो रहा था, इसलिए ऐसे मत करना। मैंने क्या बताया, ऐसे मत करना। येदियुरप्पा जी ने एक बड़ा नेता रहे वो कर्नाटक में, इसलिए उनके बारे में बताया था। उत्तर कर्नाटक के बारे में और भ्रष्टाचार के बारे में बताया।
तो आपका जो इरादा है वो सिर्फ इतना है कि कर्नाटक के अंदर इस तरह के भ्रष्टाचार ना हो। आपका इरादा ये है कि उत्तर कन्नड़ा में जो सहूलियत होने चाहिए, फैसिलिटी, वो अप टू द मार्क हो। इसके अलावा आप और कुछ कहना चाहेंगे कि सरकार के खिलाफ आपका क्या एग्जैक्टली क्या एलिगेशन है?
केवल ये सरकार के लिए नहीं है, पूरे सिस्टम के लिए मैंने बता रहा हूँ। केवल ये सरकार की बात नहीं है, यानी गवर्नमेंट में भ्रष्टाचार बहुत बड़ा हो रहा है, ऐसे मत करना। ठीक है
जी। Dingaleshwar Swamiji, thank you so much for joining us. I think we already lost the line, but yes, we heard the Swamiji again, and he has a fair point in so far as raising the issue of corruption derailing due process. A number of times it happens, Mr. Chandrasekhar. How can you in a way dismiss or deny or dodge something of this nature? It's pretty serious. You have a very revered seer who's raising it. How can you simply say that, give us the evidence? Unless you do that, nothing is moving. Is that what the BJP has decided?
Madam, a very important thing is the Swamiji, Dingaleshwar Swamiji, he categorically said that corruption is there since the rule of Congress till today. So BJP as political party, if there is corruption in our nation or in our state, we are ready to stop. That's why our Chief Minister said we are taking it very seriously, number one. Number two is 2013 to 2018, in Karnataka, there was Congress party rule. And before the BJP came to power, 1 year was ruled by JDS and combined. So we inherited that system and we are trying to clean it up. So the Dingaleshwar Swamiji's concern is North Karnataka was not developed and it was completely neglected. So he is asking a common grievance that all the political parties, including BJP, please give us attention, which we are going to give it.
No,
And
your
we will
minister
make
has
sure
also
that it
said that the
is,
seer
equal
is
as
seeking
well as
media
other
attention.
religion.
ये मीडिया अटेंशन पाने के लिए, मीडिया में आने के लिए बोल रहे, ये भी कहा है, हमने सुनाया वो बाइट प्रोग्राम के शुरुआत में बीसी नागेश जी ने ये भी कहा है. So it is not as if you're not dismissing the seer, you are. Let's also
But we
focus.
respect the
Yes, I
polity,
have
madam.
very little time. I need to bring in another element which we spoke about, and in fact Ms. Lavanya brought it up, about how there are allegations of collecting commissions, not just in these two cases, but now you have another BJP leader, Divya Hagaragi, being named in police sub-inspector exam scam. There are allegations of irregularities that was held in October 2021 for 545 posts. CID is probing the case, is now on the lookout for the accused leader. He was running this institute, which is now under the scanner, and her husband is already under arrest and reportedly not cooperating in the investigation. The Congress, of course, has taken up this issue again. Let's listen in to Brijesh Kallappa commenting on this story.
The question is really, does this lady, does Divya Hadalgi have the wherewithal to influence the appointment of a sub-inspector? I mean, she's just an office bearer, and she's a women's office bearer of the BJP. You see, unless she has reach and very high up, right? That is up to the Home Minister's office. It's impossible to achieve something like this. It's impossible. And let me tell you, I have been in government. I can tell you with a lot of confidence that for just some lady office bearer of the BJP to be able to influence the appointment of a sub-inspector is highly impossible. This has some lead connections, right, deep inside government.
Yes, I just need closing comments. Mr. Tadkal, I had to interrupt you. Anything more you want to add to this before I take closing comments from the others?
I think it has been very clear and evident after she coming into the line and making a categorical statement on what he's made on. My only request to all my political parties is please don't use your politics for the sake of votes. Don't use our community for the sake of votes. When she is making a serious allegation, whether it is the Congress or whether it is a BJP or it is a JDS, please consider it serious. Please don't call them jokers or don't call them a photo freak or a video freak or a media freak. This is a very serious allegation which you are making.
Ms. Lavanya, yes, I want to quickly come to you because, yes, like I said, here the issue, of course, we've heard all the other leaders leveling serious charges, but the fact of the matter is that it's not just one or two, there are multiple different kind of allegations coming in. Quick response to what Mr. Chandrasekhar said earlier.
Afrida, instead of condemning the whistleblowers, the government should be starting an inquiry into all of these cases that the whistleblowers have been talking about. And it is disrespectful to call a seer, His Holiness, that he is craving media attention. And that is why he would do this, I'm sure. As a pontiff, he's beyond these petty issues of media attention. Thank you. I hope, and I think it is time for the BJP government to be sent home. It is high time the CM steps down because there's been nothing but communal disharmony and corruption under his 9-month tenure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Chandrasekhar, Lavanya Bilal and Anil Kumar Tadkal. The fact is, I will take the words from Mr. Tadkal that a certain community should not only be nurtured for the sake of vote bank, their interest must be also the interests of facilities for the community in terms of roads and bridges and transport, as we heard Swami Dingaleshwar say. That should be the focus of the government. As for the corruption allegations, there must be an honest investigation. We leave it at that. Thanks for watching.